Hello and welcome back to the Tiny Homestead. Today I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why I wish I would have started our tiny homestead sooner and the lessons I've learned. Number 1, ultimately that's really it. I wish I would have started sooner. Since we have such a small yard and a small house and we live right in town here in a small town in Montana, I really didn't think that I was going to be able to have a small scale farm of any kind. I also never thought of myself as having a green thumb. I could never keep houseplants alive. I always thought that you have to have a specific kind of a knack for greens and keeping things alive that are plant related. And I never trusted myself with it. So it was really me years and years of not doing it just because I was afraid. And now looking back, now with the internet and ChatGPT, you can learn literally everything and you have it right at your fingertips in your phone. So I definitely can say I wish I would have started sooner, but then again, I really wasn't as well versed at all until I got older and I had my kids, and now I'm actually really into this, whereas years before it wasn't even so much on my radar. But of course, looking back, I wish I would have now years and years below my belt, where I could say that we've been growing and doing this awesome hobby for way longer than we have, but we shall move forward. Number 2, I wish, or my husband and I both wish, we would have seen the potential in our tiny space. That kind of ties back to also wishing that we would have done it sooner, but really we didn't necessarily just do it not sooner because of our tiny space exclusively. We really just didn't think we could grow things. But our tiny space, our tiny yard was really just this little square, and we thought, well, this is where the dogs go potty. This is a little bit of outdoor space that we have available to us and the family, and we didn't really think to go vertical. We didn't think that we could reuse one of our spare bedrooms. And yes, it took some maneuvering around. Like, we have 2 little boys and they now are in the same room instead of each having their own room, but it works out because they actually do love being together and also sleeping in the same room. They love the company. They're not old enough yet where they actually really ask for their specific individual rooms. So we made that extra spare bedroom now a grow room / office for me. And this is kind of what I mean by the potential. People continuously are blown away, and I always forget because this is my day-to-day. But when we show the space to anybody, they're always just like, wow, I can't believe you did this. It's like a tiny jungle in this small backyard in the middle of town. And that, I'm proud of that. We're so happy that we were able to create that, but it also really instilled this way of thinking in us to say, not to like, oh, we can't do this because our yard is smaller. We can't do this because we don't have a greenhouse. We're in Montana and our growing seasons are fairly short. And so when we go in and really start planting in May when it's time, before you know it, your vegetables aren't even fully done and mature and grown, at least most of them, before when the season ends. So with that, we had to get creative. We had to say, okay, let's start in a greenhouse. Well, we don't have space for a greenhouse. So we took that spare bedroom and made it a grow room. Obviously, you got to keep it ventilated, make sure that nothing gets moldy or too humid, and you need grow lights, etc. And if you're interested, comment below, let me know if you want to see our setup, what kind of stuff we've bought. Most of it is from Amazon as far as grow lights go, etc. But they've done very well, and we're always looking to buy things on a budget. So we never spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on one specific thing if there is a solution that's cheaper and just as good. So anyway, because we're all about being fairly thrifty here. So yeah, we wish we would have seen the potential sooner because it is just highly rewarding and so much more fun. So if you have a small space, I hope this is kind of the lesson to be learned here, is if you have a small space, don't think I can't do this. Think, what can I do with my small space? Even if it's just a small deck, to be honest. You can do vertical gardening. You will be surprised what kind of cool things people come up with. how to make a really tiny space fairly productive and have at least a couple tomatoes, maybe some lettuces, things that grow and mature fast. And then you don't even have to worry about buying overpriced organic produce, which don't even get me started on that because I have a real love-hate relationship with this stuff. But anyway, so you know it's homegrown, you know it's organic truly, and you know it's way healthier for you, and it is really fun in the process, I promise. Number 3, I really wish that we knew how resilient nature really is. And that goes for all these little plants. Like these are literally remnants of things that grew a little slow and we started late, and now they're just kind of sitting here and we're going to see what happens. But ultimately, I always thought, okay, I'm going to get on YouTube and I'm going to look like what's the perfect soil mixture for my stuff. How do I make these raised garden beds? What do I put in it? How do I feed it? And quickly, I became totally overwhelmed with this whole thing. And I was like, oh my goodness, with all these professional gardeners need all these different things to be successful. A, it's going to cost me so much money, right? And then B, I can't do that. I had to like write this big list of things that I had to go buy and remember this, and then somebody else contradicted you. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, keep it simple initially. Nature and plants are fairly resistant and they're fairly resilient. So you're gonna make mistakes. Some plants will thrive and you'll be surprised that they did. Like last year, we had huge, healthy zucchini plants. We literally just threw a seed in the ground. Outside of the fence, barely watered it, like we did not care. We just kind of let it do its thing, and it thrived, and we had a zucchini or two every single day for the whole growing season. This year, we planted them in special soil. We made sure that they were watered and fed, and they are not producing. So this is just kind of your lesson in the sense that you don't have to make things perfect for them to work out. I promise you. Some things are harder than others, but just try it. The worst that could happen is that you're going to have to go on YouTube or ChatGPT and figure out what to do, what your current specific problem is, and I promise you, you'll find solutions to it. Another example is I, this year, started growing an eggplant to about this size inside, and then I took it outside and it got yellow, the leaves were wilting, and it just did not look good. It looked actually to the point where I was almost gonna rip it out. So I went to ChatGPT and I took a picture of it and I said, what's wrong with my eggplant? And I got a little care plan. And he said, basically just, feed it more heavily, give it thorough and regular watering, and it might bounce back. And it did. It's the most beautiful big plant. By now it's about this big and it's got a couple eggplants on it. And it is just as lush and green and healthy as can be. So don't give up on your plants. I learned that the hard way because I have thrown away things way before they even needed to be thrown away in the past. And I'm glad that I made that change because it is just the coolest thing to see a plant that looks kind of terrible and is about to be garbage to actually turn into a producing vegetable plant in the end. And that same goes for flowers, etc. too. Number 4, I wish that we would have started with fewer expectations and more curiosity. What I mean by that is, again, going back to my previous point a little bit, that we thought we had to do it all correctly. So I got this analysis paralysis and didn't start at all. So you have to be genuinely curious about what will this plant do. You have to get excited about the tiny seedling poking out and kind of over obsessing over that stuff initially. And that excitement really kind of drives your motivation to keep going and growing and putting time and some money into it, and it becomes a true passion in the hobby. So, and it's really awesome to see that our kids now too, they're 3 and 5 year old boys, they love coming into, they call it the pink room because our grow lights are pink, and they want to help water and they want to understand things, and they ask, what is this plant called and what is this plant called? And that curiosity sort of really sparked my inner child too, and I realized like I wanted to go back to my human roots, if you will, a little bit more, and go ahead and produce something that we can later eat. It makes sense to my kids now all of a sudden, where did this all come from? And I promise you, my children, as a side note, eat so much more healthy and so many more vegetables because they have pulled them out of the ground themselves. And then they ask me to chop it up and maybe get a little dip, and then we just eat raw veggies, and it is just the coolest thing. Whereas other kids I know often curl their nose at things like vegetables and so on. So basically, what I've learned here is that if you stay curious, you don't really fail. You just learn from your mistakes, and you might have unexpected successes too on top of it. For example, this is only my second year growing tomatoes, and my tomatoes are completely out of control. They're growing, I'm harvesting, I get healthy tomatoes, big and small. I have had so much more success, and if I wouldn't have just dove into it, I don't think I would have the kind of outcome that I have now. Number 5, that's really kind of just a personal one, but I really wish I would have documented more, because that would have made this whole thing so much more impactful, and in seeing and showing to you guys how far we've come. A couple years I literally had one used topsy-turvy, and I put a store-bought tomato in it, and it did absolutely nothing. I just kind of let it hang out there in the sun, and I sometimes watered it, and that was it. From that to going to a full-grown, amazing, tiny vegetable garden that we have now, it is just the coolest thing ever. And it has been, I'm so proud to say that we've gotten this far, given that I really had no green thumb, and now I'm starting to be a bit more of an educated person on what fertilizers to use and why and when, and if something isn't looking right, I can kind of start telling by looking at it what's wrong with it and how to fix it. So this is kind of really a cool experience to have made, and if I had documented these things more, I think it would have been even more obvious how far we've really come with this. So also, the garden doesn't have to look perfect to be magical. I say that because I'm a very clean gardener. I love everything nice and neat and in rows and clean, and so I can oversee things, and I like things in order, like here's where the lettuce goes, here's where the potatoes go, and all those things. My husband is a complete chaos gardener. If he can throw seeds in an empty spot, he will, and it drives me crazy. But it also teaches me to kind of take a step back and relax and understand that a garden can be messy and beautiful at the same time. Throw some Montana wildflower seeds in there too, and you've got a whole cool ecosystem where all of a sudden you're going to have butterflies, etc. So if you've watched my previous video, you will know that we are under contract on a house that has a bigger property. And I am so excited to be expanding, because it's just to take what we've been able to do here. My husband had already said over dinner the other day, wait till we have how much more, maybe 5 times more of the space than we do now. It's quite substantial given our tiny space right now. As a comparison, our whole lot, including the house and a double car garage on it, is only about 3,400 square feet. So that leaves us with virtually almost no yard at all. The next place is a little bit over a 1/4 acre. So to me, this is an absolutely enormous space. I am so excited, and I can't wait to see what we're gonna do. Our plans are to add a nice pool for the ducks, like a real drainable pool, so we have more ease of switching out the water every day and keep it clean, because our ducks are bougie, I tell you guys. They do not like dirty water. About twice a day, they will sit in front of their dirty water pool and literally quack and honk until I go out there and with my buckets, so far that's what I'm doing. I take buckets and I just clean it out and give them fresh water, and it is the cutest thing to see them splish, splash, and act like little kids and teenagers with this fresh water. So we're gonna have a bigger pond, we're gonna have a pump, we're gonna have a filter, we're gonna have a drain system, and we're gonna have a 2-story nice coop that's insulated for them, because we are in Montana and winters are terribly tough. I know ducks are way more resilient to that than chickens are, but still, also predator proofing, etc. So anyway, I can't wait. We're about between 6 to 8 weeks away from moving in. This closing is taking a little bit longer because of some financing stuff that we're doing to make this even more of a good deal than most people are getting right now. And I guess that would be another bonus point, is what I've learned too is patience is key. We've been looking for a new house for almost an entire year by now. By the time we'll be moving into the new house, it will have been actually a little bit over a year total. And it's been frustrating, it's been hard. We've been really struggling with all the disappointments that came with looking at all these houses and never finding anything suitable. And the prices are just out of control here in Montana. And so to have finally found a house where the finances make sense, the space is great, and we can finally expand as a family is just so exciting. And I can't wait to show you guys and take you along as we move and show our ducks and our kids the big backyard. It's all fenced. And so anyway, if you like this kind of real talk, if you're curious or have any questions, please comment below. I would love to have a conversation starter where we can just kind of exchange information and help each other so we can all be a little bit more sustainable, be a little bit healthier, make sure we, grow our own veggies if we can, and raise our kids in just a little bit of a different way than a lot of people are doing these days. And I'm all here for it, and I hope you are too, and I'll see you next time.